Welcome back, Algebra 2. So we're going to go ahead and do an example 2, and it says factor the following polynomials. Now, these polynomials, they are going to factor just the same as the other ones, but as you notice, we have quite a few more variables in this one, but we still want to do them the same way. So 1 is to see if we can find a GCF, 2 is to see if we can find any special pattern, and then finally for 3, if we have to, let's go ahead and guess and check. Okay, so first things first, GCF, there is no coefficient here, so 1, 5, and 6 are not going to have a GCF. As far as numbers go, let's check variables. This guy has an x squared, this guy has an x. No x's here, so I can't take any x's out. This guy doesn't have a y, so I can't take any y's out, so we're actually not going to be able to do a GCF. Let's see if we can find a special pattern. I can square root x squared. Can I square root 6? Nope, so no special pattern either, so now we go to guess and check. So now, with these, it's still going to be two binomials. Obviously, our first term is going to be x and x. Now here, we still have to think factors of 6, but now each of these 6, or whatever the factors we come up with, is going to have a y squared, or a y, to get the y squared here. So let's go with 2 and 3, because those do add to 5. Those, right off the bat, I do understand that that'll work. So 2, but they'll have to have a y, and then 3 will also have to have a y. Now our signs are plus plus here, that means they're going to be plus plus here. Especially with these ones, please FOIL these out, because we have two variables now we have to keep track of. So let's take a look. X times x is x squared. X times a 3y is a plus 3, and always do alphabetical here. So 3xy. And then 2y times x is a plus 2, and again, alphabetical, so we'll go xy. And then finally, 2y times 3y is going to give us a plus 6y squared. If we combine our two middle terms right here, we would have x squared plus xy, I can do that, so 3 and 2 makes 5xy, and then plus 6y squared. Is that what we started with? Sure is, so we are good to go. Do these factor any further? X plus 2y? Nope. X plus 3y? No. So we are done. There you go. Again, remember, always, as complicated as it looks, always FOIL it back out and you should be okay. Okay, let's take a look at letter B here. It says x squared minus 14xy minus 32y squared. So again, try and find a GCF. There's no number because I have a number of 1 here, so no good with that. X's, I have x squared, x, shoot, and then nothing, so no x's. I don't have a y here, so I can't pull out y's, so there is no GCF. Checking for special patterns, I can square root x squared. Can I square root 32? Not exactly. So no special patterns here either. So back to guess and check it is. So we have our binomials here. Obviously the first two letters are going to be x here. Now we need factors of 32 that have a difference of 14. So listing out our factors of 32, we have 1 and 32. We have 2 and 16, and actually we can stop there because those have a difference of 14. So let's put, and don't forget these have to have a y on each, so let's do 2y and 16y. And then for signs, so this needs to be a negative, that means that they're going to be alternating signs. So one's got to be plus and one's got to be minus. If we have 14 here, that means our bigger thing is negative, because it makes this negative. So out of 2 and 16, 16 is bigger, so 16 is negative. And that should be positive. So now let's just double check. So x times x is x squared. X times a negative 16y is a negative 16xy. 2y times x is a positive 2xy. And then positive 2y times a negative 16y is a negative 32y squared. Combining these two guys right here, we would get x squared minus 16 plus 2 is a negative 14xy, and then minus 32y squared. Looks like we've made it, ladies and gents. So we've gotten what we wanted here. These do not factor any further, so these are our two binomials. Okay, example 3 says factor the following polynomials with a leading coefficient. So if you notice, these are a little bit different because we don't just have an x squared thing. So we always want to check, again, for GCF. Then 2, we want to check for special patterns. And then 3, we want to check to see if we can use guess and check. Okay. So So GCF here, can I factor anything between 8, 34, and 36? Oh, definitely. I can definitely do a 2. Can I do any higher? No, because 4 doesn't work here, so that means 8's not going to work either. So 2, and then check your x's, x squared, x, and nothing, so no x can come out. So if I factor a 2 out front, remember when I have the GCF, it's just going to pull it all the way out front, and then I'm going to be left with a trinomial in the middle here. So 8 divided by 2 is 4, and then we left all the x's inside, so 4x squared. And then this is going to be a minus, and then 34 divided by 2 is 17x. And then this is going to be a plus. 36 divided by 2 is going to be 18. Okay, so we factored out a GCF. Now let's check inside. So this trinomial, see if we can do a special pattern. Well, I guess check for GCF again. If there's anything more you can pull out, then I guess you want to keep going. But if you pull the greatest common factor out to begin with, then you shouldn't be able to do another one. And we can't because it is 17. So checking special patterns, we can square root 4. Can we square root 18? Nope, so no special patterns here. So moving on to guess and check then. Now when you do this, you're just going to have the 2 out front from before, and it is going to factor into 2 binomials. Just ignore this 2. You don't need to do anything with it right now. You need to worry about 4x squared and 18. So 4x squared, you want to think of the factors of that. Now again, you can have 1 and 4 or 2 and 2. I steer clear of the 1 and 4s. You can try it if you'd like, but I'm going to try 2x and 2x. If I do 2x times 2x, that's 4x squared. Now for factors of 18, okay, let's see, we got 1 and 18. We've got 2 and 9. We've got 3 and 6. Let's go ahead with, I don't know, 2 and 9 and 3 and 6 here. Let's do 2 and 9 first. And I need a positive last term, which means I'm going to have the same signs. But I need a negative middle term, so that means both of them are going to have to be negative. So let's go ahead and FOIL. Again, we're going to ignore this 2 for right here. So we're just going to put the 2 here. Let's FOIL this back out. So 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times negative 9 is a negative 18x. Negative 2 times positive 2 is a negative 4x. And then negative 2 times 9 is a positive 18. Now I already know without having to write it that this is not going to make 17. So this is not going to work for us. So what I'm going to need to do here is erase this. Don't need any of that. And now, like I said before, don't go crazy when you're changing things around here. Change one thing at a time. So what I might start doing is I might start with the 2 and the 9 and switch them. But in this case, we have a 2 and a 2, and the signs are the same. So since these are exactly the same, switching the 2 and the 9 isn't going to do anything. So I'm just going to cross those out. Let's move on to 3 and 6. So let's put a 3 here and a 6 here. And then let's start to FOIL again. So 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times a negative 6 is a negative 12x. Negative 3 times a positive 2 is a negative 6x. So, and with these, I guess you don't really even need to check the first and the last. Just the middle really is what's going to give you the issue. So when I actually add these together, I'm going to get negative 18x. So we're pretty close, but those aren't going to work. So we got to get rid of those two. Okay? You don't have to check the whole thing necessarily because the first and the last are handpicked. So those will work out. Now the middle terms is what we need to worry about. So 3 and 6 are gone. Should we try 1 and 18? Yeah, we could try 1 and 18. Let's give it a shot. Right. So 1, 18. All right, here we go. So I guess I could just check the middle. So if you want to like do this type of thing, 2x times a negative 18 is a negative 36x. And then the middles would be a negative 2x. Yeah, those are definitely not going to make negative 17. So let's get rid of those. Okay. So now we might be thinking, well, we've used all our options here, Ms. Warner, because you're out of factors here. Now, we are out of factors here. However, we now know, excuse me, we now know, since I can't get any of these factors to work with 2 and 2, that maybe the back factors aren't really the problem. Maybe the real problem comes from these front factors here. So this 2 and this 2 here got to be changed. All right, so let's go ahead and see. Our only other options there were 1x and 4x. So let's do 4x here and then x here. We can keep the 1 and the 18. Let's mentally check here. 4x times negative 18. That's going to be way bigger than 17 because this is 1 here. So those really aren't going to work. So 1 and 18, we're going to get rid of those. So maybe let's try, let's go back to 2 and 9. I'm leaning towards 3 and 6. So let's do 3 and 6. Let's do 3 here and 6 here. Then when I check my middle term, which remember, again, comes from our inners and our outers. So 4x times negative 6 is a negative 24x. And then negative 3 times x is a negative 3x. Those are not going to make 17. So we got to get rid of those. Now, do we need to get rid of those? Before, when I was doing these, I said we just try it once and then we're done. But now, look at my 4x and my x are not the same. So if I switch 3 and 6, that will actually make a difference here. So let's go ahead and let's just try switching the spots of 3 and 6. So let's put a 6 here and a 3 here. So here we go. 4x times negative 3 would be negative 12x. And then negative 6 times x is a negative 6x. So boom, chain. Oh, we're so close. That makes negative 18x. So that's not going to work. Very close though. So let's get rid of those. So now we know that 6 and 3 are totally off the table. So we can for sure get rid of those. So 3 and 6 gone. Okay. So let's go back to 2 and 9. So let's do, I'm just going to go with my gut here and go 9 here and 2 here. And you might have been sitting and trying this yourself and figuring out all these different things. So you might be thinking, oh, this might work here. So 4x times negative 2 is a negative 8x. And then negative 9 times x is a negative 9x. Ooh, baby. Boom, ching. That does make negative 17. I think we have winners. So let's go ahead and FOIL all of this back out just to double check. We always want to do that, especially with guess and check. So 2 is going to be out here. We have 4x times x, which is x squared. 4x squared, excuse me. 4x times a negative 2, which is a negative 8x. Negative 9 times x, negative 9x. Negative 9 times 2, or negative 2, would be a positive 18. And then I get 2 times 4x squared. And times a negative, or sorry, we're combining these. Minus 17x, and then plus 18. Now we got back to here, okay, and then you could just kind of like mentally, oh yeah, 2 times 4x squared is 8x squared. 2 times negative 17x is a negative 34x. 2 times 18 is 36. So that is going to FOIL through without me having to actually write it. So finally, and it took a while, and that's why I say try, guess, and check last, because it might sometimes take a while. And look, if you persevere, you will get there. And we finally got to our answer of 2 times the quantity, 4x minus 9, times the quantity, x minus 2. Okay? We have a couple more examples to get through, so I will hope that you join me in the next video. Thank you for being so patient.